Hey and welcome to Neverwinter with Arrogant. So I've been fortunate enough to gain access to the new companion, the Air Genasi. I'm not entirely sure if it's pronounced like that, but when we go and look in our roster here, you can see it's actually called the Windsoul Genasi. Now this new companion will be obtainable from the reworked Siege of Neverwinter event. Now there won't exactly be a whole lot reworked, we'll still have the same area, the same dragons and those heroic encounters, but it'll be formatted a little different so that we'll obtain tokens of participation, tokens of challenge, and also these tokens of achievement. Now in my last video with regards to this Help It event or the Harvester of Nightmares event, I did tell you guys that we were going to get an upcoming companion for those tokens of achievement. So if you've already got the Golden Warhorse, or if you nearly have it, you might want to save up for this new companion, the Windsoul Genasi, also known as the Air Genasi. And you can see it has its abilities here with giving as it equip power, the deflect chance and the combat advantage. Unfortunately, this isn't really going to be good for anybody since it's a combo of offensive and defensive. But otherwise it has the enhancement of vulnerability, and then we go to her stats and powers and you can see she'll have a flail strike, spinning around dealing damage, being able to summon a storm pillar like the wizard, and also have a tempest blade basically just striking. Now we can actually see what she's going to do, as I've been fortunate enough to actually get her as our active companion here. So it's just summoning these dummies. We can see she's just going to simply strike at them with her sword, and then she has this ability to spin and also kill them. So we went and we actually tested this out further against some dummies in single target and both AoE to figure out what her capabilities are. You can see spinning strike isn't exactly dealing a lot of damage there, but has the ability to hit multiple enemies. Unfortunately, the storm pillar isn't going to be the charged up version, so it can only hit the target that is initially hit by it, and otherwise her thrust is also just single target. So we go and test this out on a dummy, and we can see here with single target damage she was racking up about 14.5 thousand encounter DPS. We put that on a chart against the top ones and we can see that she's way down there, with the pseudo dragon and the honey badger nearly doubling her damage output. Keep in mind the honey badger, if it loses any hit points, this damage output will nowhere near be as much as that anymore. And then we also went to Dreadring and tested against some dummies, and she could manage to hit 2 of them. And as a result, we got her encounter DPS increased there a bit to just over 20,000 there. Her flail strike being the ability where she can hit both the dummies, otherwise her tempest blade and storm pillar are all single target. You can see the majority of her damage in AoE was flail strike, and in single target it was also flail strike. And for the damage chart there for AoE, we can see we got the results. Now this is taking into consideration that if they were to hit 5 targets, this is the damage they would deal. They would hit 5 targets with their ability. So I've only scaled up the damage that can actually hit multiple targets. So the Air Genasi with her flail strike would be able to deal up to that much DPS if she had those 5 targets available to her consistently, since this is damage per second on average with all of their abilities taken into consideration. Then you would have Alphonse Nox, the Splinters, the Mystic the Wayward Wizard. They can perform pretty much identical as long as they can target just as many foes with their slow ability. And then the Gith being at the very top there, but he would have to be able to hit those 5 targets with his spinning strike, and he does have the ability to knock back enemies, so this can end up being pretty unrealistic here. This is just against dummies again, all of these tests. So there'll be a link in the description to this AoE damage companion test. You can see that new column here. This is ranking them if they could hit those 5 targets, and this would give their average damage per second against them. Keep in mind, if you're running content where you can just kill the enemies super quickly, you can be better off running a companion that can just do their big hit within a few seconds. I'm working on adding another column that'll show basically how much damage they can do within about 5 seconds of a fight, and that should show you what companions you should want to use if you just want that burst damage output to kill the enemies as quickly as possible, because you end up with a situation where you're in, let's say, Vault of Stars, and you can just kill all the enemies super quickly with your own powers, and then there really isn't a point to have a companion that can do lots of damage over time. You want a companion which can do the damage right off the bat, so the enemies are killed straight away. But then realistically, you don't really need a companion anyway, since if you can kill the enemies so fast, they're not really going to be very threatening to you. But people still want to be chasing those pain giver boards, so this is why I'm doing this, trying to figure out what companion you should be using. This chart isn't really fully representative that you should run a Gith. But again, here is the Air Genasi, and disappointingly, she's not going to be a companion that's going to be like the best, and not even one I would consider using as summoned, since you can see those charts, this being the AoE one and this being the single target damage test one. And we can see with her equip power, it's again just one offensive and one defensive stat there of deflect chance and combat advantage. So overall, this companion, I would only pick her up if you need that extra companion bolster. We still need these 10 companions to be able to get this bolster to 100%, and thus, even though we only need 5 companions here in our equip slots, you're still going to need another 5 mythics to get the bolster. So as a new players, this can definitely help you out. Unless you've already got those 10 mythic companions, then this companion really doesn't have anything special. Otherwise, the Golden Warhorse does have its golden touch, which acts very much like your tunnel vision or your giant toad's tongue slash, with this magnitude getting up to 3000. But again, it's on legendary and you still have to upgrade it to mythic, whereas this account wide mythic companion, you won't have to upgrade at all. You'll be able to go to your claims valuable, the promo tab, and simply claim it on all of your characters, giving them that extra bolster, as we can see right there. So overall, a little bit disappointed in this companion. If her damage was doubled, then she would be somewhat competitive with the top, but who knows, that may even happen. This is still only the preview server. The Siege of Neverwinter is still a week away there, coming at November the 11th, and the rework isn't exactly going to be a big rework. So again, hopefully this has been somewhat insightful to you guys. Just a look at this new upcoming companion, and also a bit of a shuffle around with my AoE damage companions and how I'm ranking them. Still working on perfecting it. And so I'd like to give a massive thank you to all of my channel members for helping me keep my channel going. And if I presented this well, consider leaving the video a like. And if you're new around here, consider subscribing. We'll see you guys around. Goodbye for now.